All right, welcome back to NewsWire here on SportsGrid. One of my favorites in the industry, of course, covering the Dodgers for SportsNet Los Angeles. You can catch them on their broadcasts. It's going to be another fun year, I would imagine, for the Dodgers. It's already been a wild season, wild off season as well. Let's bring in Jose Mota, who's, of course, appeared on our show before. Certainly well respected in the industry as well, and want his opinion on what's going on with the Dodgers this season. Jose, as always, thank you for taking a few minutes to spend some time talking Dodgers baseball with me. Thanks for coming on.
Craig, what a pleasure, man, and haven't talked to you in a long time, but good to be obviously back with you and to talk about Dodgers baseball and the way they've been playing up to this date is pretty exciting.
Yeah, it is. And look, I think going into the season, the expectations changed dramatically when you sign a player to a $700 million contract. And not only does a player, Jose, back in the day when you played and your dad played, to say that somebody lived up to a $700 million contract would have been insane to have that discussion. But here we are. This guy is out of this world, literally.
Shohei Ohtani has had every reason, Craig, to fail. Think about this. Things started bad over in Korea, obviously with the distractions of his interpreter, right? And so many people that still didn't want to believe Shohei. But this kid has just always been so focused on one thing, playing the game right, being a good teammate, being a good citizen, and being accountable. And I think we've seen a production in which a guy that's has the ability for so many years, and I saw it, Craig, with the Angels, to just put things in the right compartment to say, what is it that I need to take care of today? Is it rehabbing my arm, which it's still doing right now? Is it taking care of being a good teammate and fitting in with Yamamoto and the rest of the guys? And my responsibility is also as a new member of a club that is expecting a lot from me. And the expectation for the Dodgers were the same as they are today before they got Yamamoto and they got Shohei Ohtani, but they have fit in so well just to make things even more exciting.
Yeah, they have. Now, I'm not going to ask you a betting question, but I am going to ask you I'm not going to do that to you, but I'm going to ask you about the possibility for those who are thinking about maybe betting on something, because Shohei Ohtani is going to be a very high candidate to win the most valuable player, Jose. And in all of your years broadcasting and playing, we have not seen, I don't believe, anything like this before, where a player that's just exclusively a designated hitter wins the MVP. I don't. Did David Ortiz play first base when he won MVP? I'm not even sure, but this is the hot discussion right now because, as you know, Mookie Betts was the easy pick for the MVP, but now that he's out for a period of time, Ohtani is now the favorite. In your opinion, is it okay to give a player like this the MVP without playing a position?
I always say it this way. The designated hitter was created by baseball, not the player. The player didn't choose, hey, I'm going to be a DH and that's it. It is a position in which you develop your abilities, in which you fit with a team under the rules of Major League Baseball. So why should you not be eligible to win the MVP? What is it that you've done wrong other than to perform at the highest standards, which are called for? And remember, when you're a designated hitter, you know what happens if you don't hit? You don't play. So if you're performing and you're contributing to your team, well, there's no way to escape the issue of you being a top performer and a guy that's going to get some votes. We go back to the years when I was with the Angels and Mike Trout is putting up these numbers. And all of a sudden, the idea with the metrics and analytics is, wait a minute, why should we penalize this guy because his team is not going to the playoffs when everything was weighed on guys going to the playoffs and winning MVPs, right? So the same principle in a way applies now as to why should you penalize a guy for just being a one-dimensional guy as a designated hitter when perhaps, think about this too, if you're a highly performing offensive player and you're okay and average on the defensive side, does that preclude you from winning an MVP? No. So in other words, what are we penalizing a guy for not being part of the defensive side? And I can understand the argument, but overall, it is a new era. The DH is not only in one league, it's in both of them. And I think we need to move on to say this is what baseball has right now, because at some point, I guarantee you, it's going to come down to guys that are aging. The Bryce Harpers of the world are going to be in the same spot at some point. Are you going to penalize them too because, at 37, 38, 40 years old, they're not playing the field? Absolutely not. I don't think it should be.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. And even in the previous non-DH era, there were players who played catcher that moved to first base and third base. And look, positions just change. And as long as baseball has employed or deployed the DH in the NL, I mean, what else is Ohtani supposed to do? This is where he's playing. All right, so we know who the hitting is, on the Dodgers. I don't think that's going to determine whether or not they win the World Series, Jose. I think it's going to be the pitching. So Kershaw looks like he got a little bit of a setback, but obviously not counting on him at the moment, at least. Now let's talk about Glasnow, Yamamoto, because I would tell you in this day and age where pitchers are just dropping like flies, those guys, Jose, have been fantastic. Let's talk about Glasnow, Yamamoto.
Tyler Glasnow has brought everything and more. Consider that he is playing with a team that is not just supposed to surprise people. He is the guy. He is the guy with a bullseye on his back and guys are aiming for. He took the ball over in Korea. He struggled a little bit with a couple of walks, but this guy takes his job seriously. And then, yeah, Yamamoto is now hurt. But then overall, Glasnow is a guy that you want facing the number one guy. So he's not going to get a lot of run support, which obviously comes with what? Facing the number one, number two guys on the other staff. But let's not forget about Gavin Stone and Bobby Miller is coming back and the job that Paxton has done. And then, as you mentioned, Kershaw's with a little setback, which is not a bad thing at all because you want to make sure that when he comes back, he's back full time. Bueller, who is to me still an alpha dog and a guy that has a lot in terms of intangibles to bring. He's going to be back at some point, but I think depth overall, started with Glasnow, he has stood up to the test. We know there's some concern about the innings and the starts, but at some point the Dodgers know better than anybody how to manage all these situations accordingly to make sure everybody's ready for October.
Yeah, and not only that, but I would imagine the Dodgers will get themselves ready for October next month by helping the team out and acquiring some players as well. Jose, always great to catch up with you here. And my best to you, my best to, of course, your family as well. And we'll talk again soon. Thanks again.
Same to you, my friend. Take care. Thanks for having me.